And welcome to the No Show Sportscast first pitch, tip-off, kickoff, face-off. Here for you on Mondays and Fridays. I'm Matt Klein, joined today by a couple of old college buddies, Josh Rice and Mohammed Hussein. We're going to be talking a little bit of football today. Usually we start off with some hockey. We dabble into the other leagues, see what's going on with some current events. But as everybody knows that the Super Bowl is upon us. And right now we have just started with the Pro Bowl games. So they've been happening this weekend. None of that matters, okay? We don't care about flag football crap. Us real football fans, we care a little bit more about maybe some heavy hits, maybe some contact. So we're going to be postponing our excitement of any sort of football action in the meantime. So it's Super Bowl weekend, guys. We did this last year, and we also did this in 2022 back when we were at BCIT. So that was a lot of fun. The off season is also upon us. That's the bittersweet reality of watching the Super Bowl and doing these kind of videos, doing these kind of chats. So, fellas, here we are. The season was here. It's gone in a blink of an eye, just like that. So, where are you guys at right now? Josh, we're going to start with you. How was this season? Like, how did it go for you? Obviously, 49ers fan, you've got the drip going. Had a great season up to this point. Everything's gone perfectly. But is there anything that's like gone, like anything that's shocked you, anything that's maybe you're surprised at this year, or was it just overall, 49ers bliss was spectacular?
I mean, as a 49ers fan, it was a great year. I mean, I think this shows that we should have been where we are now. We should have been here last year too. We should have been back to back if it wasn't for Brock Purdy destroying his elbow. But as an overall fan of the NFL, I think the biggest surprise for me was the overall NFC playoff field. Like, who would have thought the last four teams in the NFC would have been? I mean, other than the Niners, I feel like Tampa Bay, Detroit, and Green Bay as the other three teams left in the final four of the NFC. I think that kind of shocked everybody. And then in terms of the AFC, I mean, everybody had their ups and downs with the Chiefs all season, but I don't think anybody really expected them to get back to where they are. And now we're seeing a rematch of 2019. It's going to be a different outcome this year, but I'm excited for it.
Definitely, yeah. It was unfortunate last year. 49ers and the Eagles going at it in the NFC Championship game, and Brock Purdy injures his elbow. So that didn't happen. Were you surprised that he was able to come back as soon as he did? Because I think was it Tommy John surgery that he did, or what was the injury exactly?
It wasn't Tommy John. It wasn't that severe. I think it was just a UCL tear. But I mean, definitely surprised to see him coming back in the shape that he did and being able to sling the ball like he has been all season. I mean, he broke the 49ers single season passing record this year. Like, broke Joe Montana, broke Steve Young. Like, it's crazy what the guy's been doing. He's been slinging the ball, especially coming off that major surgery.
Yeah, that is really impressive because it's like you don't really know how a player's going to return after that, especially like a young guy like Brock. He's still trying to get his groove and like figure out how things are going to go. What about in the offseason? Were you surprised that they were just like, all right, Trey Lance, you're out of here. Brock, you've only been here for 6 months, but we love you. And we're going to be a little bit more decisive with our QBs.
Well, it's pretty interesting. I saw an interview this past week with 49ers owner Jed York, and he said that in Brock's first training camp in the offseason, he came up to the owner. Kyle Shanahan came up to the owner and told him that our third string quarterback is the best quarterback on this team. And that's when Trey and Jimmy were both there, right? So I think it just shows the confidence they have in him and the confidence that he has in himself.
Man, confidence in your quarterback. You hear that, Mo? How
Oh
nice would
man,
that
it's such
be?
a good concept. It's such a great concept.
It is, and
I,
it's also a very hard to actually have, it's hard. But just like with in the NFC West as well. Mo, how was the season for the Seahawks, man? How what happened here? What happened?
I think it confirmed that the Seahawks didn't update their iOS since the iPhone 7 in 2014. I think in terms of that, listen, this year, we thought we could repeat from last year. We thought we could do something special. I went to a Seahawks game. I'm 2-0 in person now. The Commanders, I saw them in person. Obviously they couldn't handle the Mo Express when I came in. Of course, after I showed up to the game, we lost every single game after that. So we don't know what correlation what correlation that has. However, I don't know, man. This NFL season, like, I call this keeping up with the Kelseys, man. That's what I call this. It's keeping up with the Kelseys, keeping up with everything, everything going on with KC, and keeping up with a whole bunch of things. I will say that the Tampa thing did shock me a little bit. At Baltimore, I mean, we're gonna get into that later on. Lamar Jackson, everyone's talking about how he's gonna do his thing. And then he, obviously being from Vancouver, not particularly this season. I'm very familiar to choking in terms of playoff games. So he took a page out of our book with that one. However, I think this season's been it's great. I really like just overall product outside of the Seahawks, of course, which caused a little bit of anxiety and depression this year. But I don't want to elaborate on that. That's PTSD. We don't want to get back to. However, in terms of the season, I think that this year, from a media standpoint, like it showed that the NFL's king. The NFL's king, and nobody can touch them. Linear cables going down, and then the freaking Lions and 49ers, whoever are breaking like NFL records and stuff like that. I think it's just the sky's the limit. I'm excited for the Super Bowl, and in the words of Champagne Poppy, there's nothing as big as the Super Bowl. So that's what it is, man. Come on.
Yeah,
I had to sprinkle in some of that Barbercat Poppy, bro. Come on, man.
yeah, he has to stretch out of his comfort zone of only basketball knowledge, that guy, for
Absolutely. Matt
once a
Klein,
year. Once a year he gets to talk about the Super Bowl. So
Matt Klein, in terms of for you, give us your thing now. Obviously, you let the guests we gave our takes. However, given you've got this setup right here and you've got Roger Goodell's handpicked football to your right, I really think you should deserve to give us your take, brother. Talk to us about the season. What do you think?
well, I mean, the season was it had a lot. I think there was definitely a surplus of injuries. We didn't know that the injuries were going to be piling up. I mean, who would have thought that we were seeing, CJ Beathard and Jake Browning play quarterback in a football game together. And somehow my guy Nathan Rourke wasn't able to play a game for Jacksonville or for the Patriots. And I think it was I think so obviously, like, it all can kind of come down to the Super Bowl. And is everybody content with the 49ers and the Chiefs battling it out here? And I think that it's kind of a good encapsulation of how the season went. It's like, okay,
I know who is. I'm looking at him right now. When you say that,
okay,
when you said that question, I know exactly who the hell is content with this. Go ahead, though. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, what I'm saying is the Chiefs and the 49ers, it's like, okay, is this like, okay, it's like it's good enough, and I think we can all enjoy this game, and it's gonna be all right. Like, that's how the season went for me. It was all right. This is okay. This is good enough. It's very different from how we thought maybe it was gonna go. Maybe we thought that certain teams that were gonna explode and do a lot of good didn't, and then the opposite happened. So I think I think we all kind of, our expectations were maybe too high, and they haven't been able to be met. And
You're
I
speaking
think
Jerry
the
Jones
I
language
think
right now.
hmm?
You're speaking Jerry Jones language right now. Sorry, you said expectation too high.
I
Not
mean,
met.
he
Sorry,
does he
that's
does talk a lot for his team. He does represent his team. He's almost just like a fan who has like all the buttons, and he presses them all whenever he pleases.
yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it could have been a lot better. I think we all can agree that the Super Bowl, or pardon me, not the Super Bowl, but the NFL is a lot better when Joe Burrow is healthy, when Aaron Rodgers. I mean, yeah, by and large, the NFL is better when he's in there. No Tom Brady. There's a lot of things that we just got to adjust to, and if guys are going to get injured all the time, then we just got to be, you know what, this is how it is. And Brock Purdy didn't get injured. Patrick Mahomes didn't get injured. Last year, he had that ankle sprain that we were all kind of worrying about going into the Super Bowl. But hey, I think overall, I'm content. It was all right. It was a good enough product. Okay, and this is where we're at. It's fine. It's fine. But Mo, I want to just check back with you. Okay, I just want to know
Absolutely.
your raw feelings, your emotions here. Okay, because we've got a lot of connection here with Mike McDaniel. Okay, because he was the defensive coordinator of the Ravens, and now he's the head coach of your Seahawks. I think the 49ers, they remember Mike McDonald. Did I say McDaniel? McDonald. I
It's all
think
good, brother. It's all good.
the 49ers remember Mike McDonald because him and his defense, they were on the receiving end of a lot of passes from Brock Purdy about a month and a half ago. So guys, Mohammed, how are you accepting no longer we're in the Carroll era?
We've been past this. This is a celebration of the ages right here for us. Pete Carroll. Listen, obviously a Super Bowl. That's something that I can't complain about. That's something that there's a lot of NFL teams that would I would wish to even accomplish what we did in the past decade. But man, you gotta it's just run its course. It's run its course, and the Ravens. I mean, unless you're content with MVPs and regular season trophies and stuff like that, you gotta move on, and that's how you do it. I'm excited for Seahawks football, man. I think we gotta just prop up Geno Smith, get him looking good, get him chilling, and then send him over to like a Buccaneers type situation where he can take a team, maybe like get a playoff win, do something. But we're definitely in the rebuilding stage, in the sense maybe next year's going to be a bit of a rebuild. But the NFL, you never know, man. Like I think it's safe to say, like, if there's one league that's unpredictable in terms of things moving and pieces going, it's definitely the NFL. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, poor first guy, like first two plays, this guy was taken down, right? So you have no idea. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Seahawks. I mean, shout out to Pete Carroll, but man, like I think the two terms of 1 yard, I will. I think that's called those are swear words in my book. I really don't like I don't like that. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the future, Box.
Absolutely. I was pretty surprised. I feel like there wasn't there weren't like overt signs that Seattle was just disgruntled with their coach or that the record showed evident of needing to be replaced and move on. Like I think that it was a bit of a shock. But obviously you're going with a younger quarterback. A lot of teams are doing that. A lot of teams, I'm surprised at how many coordinators, defense, offense, those guys are now stepping into the shoes of head coach. Just this past like wave of new hirings because so many guys have been coming in and out. So you mentioned is Gino, is he the future? Like is that what we can say after this season and with a new coach now?
Look at this guy. Josh hopes he's the future. Josh hopes he is. Man, come on, this guy's in
Yeah,
his
of
late
course he
30s,
does.
brother.
Okay.
That's like saying, does Al Pacino have another Scarface in him? Like, brother, it's not, like this guy's, bless Geno Smith. Exceeded expectations by far. It's of all the leagues to make a comeback in and to do what he did, to reinvent yourself from over a decade, right? And to turn yourself into a playoff quarterback. Phenomenal job. Get your money, dude. Get all of that. But man, you gotta move into the future. And whether that's tanking this season, and by tanking, like, just going with Geno just to get a good draft pick for next year. If that's the cost that it's gonna be, it is what it is. We gotta make that move. But Geno, man, like I'm not I call him Papa Geno for a reason. Sometimes he drops the ball just the way like I do when I run a quarterback on Madden. Josh, don't comment on that, please. But just like I do on that. But great run. He exceeded expectations. But hey, we're all talking about different peoples. But Drew Lock, if you want to step in and get us that number one pick, you do us a more of a service than winning us 10 games or 8 games. That's my thoughts on Geno.
Hey, Drew Lock is a great player, I think, to have that you can almost rely on if need be. Josh, the playoffs for the 49ers, I think all together they went well. Probably could have been better. Do you feel like against Green Bay and against Detroit, or were you content with how the playoffs went and where the 49ers are looking right now?
To be completely honest with you, over the past 2, 3 weeks now, I guess, I think the 49ers have given me more gray hairs than I ever thought I'd have at the age of 23. But no, man, this team, they've shown that they can win games, but they haven't put a full game of football together yet. And I think if they are able to put a full game of football together in the Super Bowl against Kansas City, then it's going to be their game to lose. They have so much potential on that team. They have superstars left, right, and center. I mean, O line, D line, wide receiver, you name it, right? So I think overall they just need to play a full game, full 60 minutes of football, and then hoping for the best. Honestly, I'm a little nervous. My girlfriend's a Chiefs fan, so it's been a pretty tense household over here the past couple of days. But no, man, I'm excited
Taylor
for
Swift
Sunday.
fan and Chiefs fan. So this is double trouble. World War III in the Calgary Dragons O'Neill household right now.
Oh, you have
Oh
no
wow.
idea, buddy. You have no idea.
Oh man, yeah. I think we're all ready for the off season to be as long as possible in respect to not having to have football and Taylor Swift be come up in the same sentence all the time like we're getting right now. So yeah,
I'm sorry,
you
Matt. Now that we're talking about coaches, can we just one last thing?
yeah.
Bill Belichick, yay or nay, and why? Like where do we think he's going to end up? One word answer. Do you guys have like a particular team? Because like the fact that Bill Belichick isn't a Patriot, it helps with my trauma, but it also like it's like a nice little shift. Do you guys have a one team thing for where you think Belichick's going to end up?
I think he's gonna take the year off. He would have been signed by now, I think.
There's no head coaching vacancies left, and him and Mike Vrabel, who I obviously thought were two of the best coaches who were essentially free agents to sign with any team, weren't signed, right? So I think the only chance that either of them had was probably Washington, because that team is an absolute dumpster fire and complete rebuild, left, right, center, owner, management, everything. So I think now that they don't have jobs, they're both going to take the year off, reevaluate, and see what openings come next season.
Amazon Prime is hiring. Go ahead.
Yeah. They could take a year off and just enjoy some find some old hobbies find some old hobbies and get back to it. But yeah, Vrabel I think definitely has got some more coaching years ahead of him. But yeah, Belichick, I mean, all signs were for him to go to Atlanta, but I think they just what you're getting with Belichick. It is kind of surprising that the Patriots let him go. But I think, yeah, it's probably for the best. I knew he wasn't going to Seattle because there's no way they're going to swap in a 72-year-old for a 71-year-old. That just stuff doesn't happen. So, yeah, unfortunately, that's just where it's headed. But like I mentioned, Pete Carroll was a huge surprise. Belichick, understandable, 4-13 or whatever they were this year. But my goodness, it was kind of yeah, Pete Carroll. It's unfortunate because the guy just loves football and he loves his team and he's got that energy, and we saw his training camp video of him throwing passes, QB3, right? So yeah, it's quite something. Just how the offseason is already started, with all these big coaches and all these new hirings. But I mean, we're fresh off of the AFC and the NFC championship games. So let's touch briefly on the Chiefs and the Ravens. They played first thing on Sunday, and then later after that, it was Detroit Lions of all people in the NFC championship game against the 49ers. So Mohammed, we'll start with you. Were you able to catch all these games and all the action last week or what?
I particularly caught the Lions and 49ers game. And let me tell you something. Gray hairs, I think that's an understatement for you, brother. That was that right there. The Lions, I mean, the fact that they make the NFC championship game, can we just give I'm gonna give him a round of applause just for that. Like the baldiest coach, Dan Campbell's his name. Am I just am I
Yeah,
tripping?
Dan
Yeah,
Campbell. Yeah,
Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, like he's like type of guy. He's like a Madden player. Oh, fourth. Oh, I got fourth and two. I got fourth. I'm gonna go for it. And for me as a fan, that's the type of football I like seeing. So Detroit Lions, big respect. However, we have to also keep this in mind. There are some teams that just have runs, and then there's teams that are made for the Super Bowl. There's teams that are made for that moment, and teams that aren't. And at this point, Detroit's just a baby. They just entered the arena. Congratulations, Jared Goff. You made a comeback. Congratulations, brother. But I thought that was great. I thought the Ravens Chiefs game though shocked me though. That game was I expected a lot more from Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Just to see. I mean, what was that? There was one play that he did where he threw the ball and he threw and caught his own like he
yeah,
caught his
ran
own
for
pass.
13
Like,
yards after he
what
caught it.
kind
Yeah.
of what kind of Minecraft are you playing, brother? Hey, what kind of custom video game? So that right there, it was that was a big gut punch. But gotta be honest, man, KC is a very like they're just locked and loaded and ready to go. And watching those two games was interesting. I think I thought the conspiracy of like the color combination on the NFL logo, I was totally flunked by that. I thought that was a possibility. However, unless I'm colorblind, we were not going with red and blue. It's an all red and white Super Bowl. So great games. Detroit, definitely. I think they fumbled it a little bit. But I think that the biggest fumble of the week was the Ravens for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I mean, at halftime, a lot of people thought that that this was just going to be a blowout. I kind of knew deep down inside that the Niners were not going to just, roll over and die. But I did think that, I mean, you could almost say that, yeah, there's a lot of similarities here. Obviously, it's like the Chiefs didn't really do a whole lot in the second half of their game. They didn't put up any points. And the Lions, they only scored a touchdown when the game was basically over for them because they just didn't have any time left. So it's like there's these multiple aspects of momentum as well as just controlling the game. I think that Mahomes is way too smart to just take his foot off of the gas and allow Lamar like there was just nothing on offense for the Ravens. So it's like, okay, well, you got nothing on offense, I got nothing on offense either. Let's just play this game out. And then the Lions forgot how to play in the second half. And I mean, their defense, which has been criticized all year, basically proved to us how uh they how and why they should be just criticized because they aren't on the same level as their offense. Offense is way better, and I just don't like Dan Campbell going for all these fourth downs because there's like you have a kicker, so use him. Not to mention how there was a situation when if they kicked the field goal, then all they needed was a touchdown, and Jameson Williams gets that touchdown later, so the game would have been tied. Obviously, retrospect looks way better. But Josh, how were you feeling at halftime in the Lions and 49ers game?
Dude, I was talking to my buddy, my other 49er fan, and I was down in the dumps. I didn't think there I couldn't see the light of day. I didn't think there was any. I mean, we were down, I want to say 17 points at halftime. I mean, that's a tough feat, right? Especially with that high-powered offense Detroit has. But I mean, Campbell's gambles lost them the game. Detroit lost the game on themselves. I mean, if it wasn't for going for it on 4th and 2 or whatever it was, they'd be in the Super Bowl facing Kansas City right now. So, I mean, I'm pretty proud of my 49ers being able to come back from that, not giving up. But we're pretty lucky to be where we are.
Can I just get a quick reaction, a quick analysis from Joshua Rice on the fourth quarter of that game? Just take me through that fourth quarter for you and your state of being doing throughout the whole thing.
I mean, as soon as the Niners got within, I think one touchdown, maybe tied the game, I looked at McKenna. I was like, it's over. We won this game. I knew as soon as I got within like a score or two, it was done. And no, I'm pretty happy to be back. It's been a long road. I mean, we saw the Niners in the Super Bowl in 2019, and then I want to say 2012 or 2013. I've seen my boys play in two big games and lose both of them. So we're not going over 3 this year. We're gonna go one. We're gonna finish it, and we're gonna finish the story.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think it was 27-24, and that's when the 4th and 2 didn't work out for the Lions. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, what if they get a touchdown now? Then the game is over. You're basically betting that Jared Goff is going to complete this and that the 49ers aren't going to complete this. Like, I understand. Go for it on 4th and 2. That's kind of the culture of the game right now. But maybe if you have Patrick Mahomes, okay, but you've got Jared Goff. That's your quarterback, especially if you're going to put the ball in the air on 4th and 2. When you got guys like Gibbs and Montgomery who are averaging, like in that game, they were probably averaging 6 or 7 yards a carry. So, like you mentioned, Josh, that's excellent pointing out. Yeah, they shot themselves in the foot. I think the 49ers, they had all the momentum, especially when they were able to tie the game and get it to 24-24 right away like that. They had all the momentum. Christian McCaffrey is the best player in fantasy football ever. And that guy just ran all over the place. The Lions defense could not contain him. So that's like disappointing for Lions fans because you look like you had the game in the bag and it was a choke job, right? It was an ultimate choke job. But fellas, so the Super Bowl is upon us. I believe it was Super Bowl 54 that these two teams met right before COVID. And I mean, this game, I feel like this game is kind of like the Ravens and the Chiefs. I really want, like, I kind of want the Niners to win, but I feel like the Chiefs are going to win. Like, this is, and the problem is, like, this isn't even better to me than last year's Super Bowl. I was like, okay, the Eagles, nice story. They were 10-0 or whatever at one point. And now here they are in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, his first good year, whatever. Sure, I'll cheer for the Eagles, but I know that Mahomes Pat is going to win. So So Josh, where are you feeling with the Super Bowl? Where I mean, obviously the 49ers, like it looks like it's theirs to lose, like you mentioned earlier. So where are you collectively with the Super Bowl going into it? Are you gonna be
I wonder
nervous?
where are you, Josh? Where are you with that? Who are you cheering for?
Collectively, as an NFL fan, not even a 49ers fan, as an NFL fan, I think it would be the coolest thing in the world to see Mr. Irrelevant win a Super Bowl as a starting
I think that would
quarterback.
be
Like,
very cool as well. I know,
Yeah.
yeah. I like
I
that,
think
yeah.
that story is just like one of the coolest things in all of sports. Obviously, as a 49er fan, I want the same thing. But no, I'm sick. I think the Chiefs are great. What they've been able to do the last 4 or 5 seasons is incredible, and to keep up the consistency with all the turnover that they've had. I mean, who would have thought last year after losing Tyreek Hill that they'd win a Super Bowl? Who would have thought this year with the lackluster wide receiver group that they have that they'd be in the Super Bowl, right? But I, as an NFL fan, don't want to see the same team win the championship over and over and over again. I want to see some change, especially the 49ers. I think that'd be great. Regardless whoever it is next season or the season after that. I just want to see some change up in the NFL. I'm not the biggest fan of like Tom Brady and the Patriots winning the Super Bowl 7 of however many years they were in the championship game. So I want to see some turnover. I want to see my boys bring it home and finish the story.
But I mean, what about their defense? Because it's kind of looked atrocious last
By the
couple
way,
of
sorry,
games.
Matt. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm so sorry. Josh is very, very good play on words. Extremely good play on words. And there's a secret dialogue that's happening between me and this guy. But go ahead, continue your thing. I'll elaborate. Keep going.
My goodness, Mount Mo, you got a lot of you're like looking into all of the subtext into everything that we say. We're just
Fine,
having a
brother.
conversation
Brother,
here, man.
keep in mind, brother. Keep going, come out, keep going.
But Josh, that defense, how about it, huh?
The defense has not played up to what they are. I mean, we have 2 sacks in 2 playoff games, and both of them are from Nick Bosa. I mean, if they don't wake up and stop Isaiah Pacheco this week, it's going to look pretty bad, especially after what the Detroit did to us. I think they had like well over 100 rushing yards in the first half of that game against us, right? And that's, I don't think, happened all season as our defense. But no, I think we've shown that we can stop teams. I mean, we came back, we didn't let Detroit score until the final couple minutes of that game where they kicked a field goal and scored a touchdown for basically nothing. I'm not too worried. I mean, it's going to be a good game. And I'm sure that as long as we can stop Travis Kelce, he's our biggest threat, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think so too. Yeah. And I mean, like it's yeah, you mentioned Nick Bosa with the 2 sacks. He's had kind of a quiet year. Obviously winning defensive player of the year last year, but yeah, and even just like I'm looking at the comparison of the defense here, and I'm thinking like, wow, like the Chiefs, they put on full display last week what they can do. And the 49ers did that, but just in the second half after they had conceded a bunch of points. So which kind of players on defense or on offense? I mean, I'm looking at McCaffrey doing a lot of the work here. What are you thinking Shanahan's gonna do for the offense?
Well, Matt, I'd like to hear your take on this specifically because I think the breakout player on the offense this week is going to be Debo Samuel. I just love to know how you feel about him. I know you've had some comments made about him that I wasn't too fond of earlier in the season, and I just have a good feeling this week.
Got a good feeling for Debo. I mean, valid, of course. 8 catches, 89 yards last year. It's nice to see him produce. I mean, I'm sure I'm one of many disgruntled fantasy owners over the years. And you know what's interesting about Debo is that he had his best year 3 years ago with Mike McDaniel as the OC, which is like, I mean, come on, can we bring him back? Can we make him the guy? It's almost like how disgruntled I am in Seattle with them underutilizing DK Metcalf. It's a similar situation. I want to see more of the guy, but unfortunately, the stats are against him. And I mentioned earlier how Brock Purdy threw 4 interceptions to the Ravens defense when they played them about a month ago. And I do believe that's as many catches as Debo had in that game. So there's no way Mahomes is going to throw more interceptions than Debo's going to catch the ball. So I expect him to have a good game. And you know what? I really like McCaffrey, but I also like Elijah Mitchell. I think that he's underutilized. So obviously, like whatever is working with your guys is working. No need to upset the apple cart, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mitchell plays a little bit more, maybe 5 or 6 snaps. And you got to get Debo the ball. That's the reality. You got to get him the ball. You got to get Kittle. You got to get the yak going, the yards after the catch. And honestly, like I think did Debo not play against Green Bay, or did he play in that game? I don't remember now.
He played a couple series, but nothing too crazy. I mean, we both know that McCaffrey's going to have a game. He does every week. He scores touchdowns. Like, he's the biggest hitter on any time touchdown on any betting site you've heard of, right? So McCaffrey's obviously going to have a game. And then I think the best corner on the Chiefs, L'Jarius Sneed, whoever he's on, if he's on Debo could be locked up. If he's on Ayuk could be locked up. So I think whatever receiver isn't being covered by L'Jarius Sneed's going to have a breakout game.
Yeah, definitely. Ayuk was probably the most consistent 1,300 receiving yards, even though he missed a game there earlier in the season. All right, wrapping up quickly. Mohammed, what do you got for me, bud? I think your allegiance could go. I think I know which way your allegiance is going to go, right?
I'm just gonna acknowledge something. I need to sit up here and I need to acknowledge.
Why
So
you always
Josh
have to
about,
acknowledge everything?
Josh
Why
is
can't you
something.
just
No,
say?
it's Josh talks about finishing the story. Josh talks about finishing the story, and I would love to see the story get finished. However, given the way things are going these days, I think it's a sign of the times. I think it's the sign of the way things are going. The story can be finished. I'm not gonna lie. Seeing a guy like Mr. Relevant, I have my allegiance right here, right over here. And you know what they say? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I will say this is my allegiance to my allegiance with the Seahawks. I'd love to see Brock Purdy win. Objectively speaking, I will say, Patrick Mahomes, you are the tribal chief of the NFL. You are the tribal chief. I will say that. I just think can't I can't visualize a scenario. And it's not even a matter of just even the 49ers. I think that it's safe to say the league has a really, really, I mean, obviously I'm not trying to emphasize be as emphasis a lot of other people, like with Taylor Swift, all this other stuff. But the league would love it if the Chiefs won this year. It will be an incredible thing. And given the way that certain officiating has gone over the past couple weeks in certain games, I wouldn't be surprised if they lean towards that. So my pick, honestly, I think the Chiefs are going to take it on terms of the Super Bowl. I think that Patrick Mahomes is ice water in his veins, and we're going to be having this conversation for another 3 years in terms of him making it. I think another 2 of the next 3, in my opinion. And so in terms of finishing the story, listen, Josh, in terms of the Niners, we'd love to see him finish the story. But brother, you got a tribal chief, and when a tribal chief still has his ring, he's gonna come through. So in my opinion, I would say the Chiefs are gonna win this game. I think it's gonna be tight. I think that they're gonna come out swinging. I don't think it's gonna be a choke job. I just gonna think it's a matter of like both teams giving it their best, and it's just a matter of the Chiefs doing what they do best, which is like no matter how far you think they they go down in the scoreboard, I think they end up making a comeback. So that's just my take in this game. I think the Chiefs are taking it, and they're here to stay, man. They're here to stay. They're the Patriots 2.0, unfortunately, just like another tribal chief, So.
Absolutely. Well, there we have it. Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. We're all gonna enjoy it. This is an excellent matchup of 2 excellent teams. And like I mentioned earlier, I think the Chiefs are going to win, but I'm going to be rooting for the Niners just because I like the story. I like Brock. I like I am beginning to get sick of the Chiefs, just like the Golden State Warriors, just like a lot of other teams in the past. And yeah, we got to mix it up. We got to get some interesting stuff here. And yeah. Hey, thank you guys so much for joining me. This was great. Yeah, thanks so much. And
gang.
Let's
Take care,
enjoy
guys.
that Super Bowl. Okay, let's enjoy the last game of the season before a very long 7-month purgatory. All right, let's do that.
Before I get heartbroken by the Canucks, let's go. Let's enjoy it as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Take care, fellas.
All right,
27-20 49ers.